Welcome to the Hawks Lounge, a podcast dedicated to storytelling, learning, and uplifting content creators. I am your host, Hawk, and today we will introduce the first theme, learning from past experiences and losses while also celebrating wins. So to begin things off, I kind of want to talk about how reading has always been a habit that I wanted to develop, but I am extremely inconsistent with that. The reason I've been so inconsistent with reading is because I only really read when I'm in a certain mood, and that mood may last for like a week, and I might just read one book and that would just be it. That would satisfy that need to read. So this was one of the books that I finished inside that reading rampage that I had. This book is titled Searching for Happiness by Martin Thielen. Now, let me explain how I got the book. I was in middle school. Can't really remember off the top of my head what grade I was in, but I know I was in middle school. I was at this camp, and this camp had a store. And inside of that store, there was like a small corner dedicated to selling books. And because I was bored, I decided to glance at the books. I saw this bright orange and yellow book. So I walked over and I looked at it. And it said the words, Searching for Happiness. And at the time, I'm in middle school. I'm not in the best mental space. And I was using happiness as like this go-to idea to fix all the problems that I thought I had. So I decided to pick it up and I bought it. It was like, $14 or so. Yeah, I fact checked it and it was actually $16, but with tax that was $17. So I spent $17 to get this book because I thought it might help me somehow. I bought it and I never touched it after I bought it. I brought it home. I didn't read it for 5 years, maybe. Yeah, I didn't read it until the quarantine of 2020. So it's just been sitting at home collecting dust. But when I was in my reading rampage, I decided to pick it up and read it because I did pay money to buy it, thinking that it would help me. With that being said, I would just like to take some time today to talk about chapter 2 of Searching for Happiness and everything that I learned from that chapter, and hopefully you can also take what I learned into consideration and maybe apply it to your own life. One of the main points that chapter 2 of Searching for Happiness harps on is that life is a battleground, but we can learn from the battles. When you think about it, it's true in some aspects. In many situations in our life, we have to fight or make a decision on what to fight and what to let go. Another thing that chapter 2 does, it breaks people down into 3 categories on how they deal with the different battles that life brings. The first one is survive. That means you are living, but feeling significantly diminished. Meaning that you're just making it through day to day, hoping that when the day starts, the day is just going to end, and that cycle repeats. You're not gaining any happiness or any satisfaction, and you're not losing any. You are stuck in the routine. The second category is recover. That is when you face a situation and instead of letting it take away from your life, you're able to recover what you had before the situation occurred. So the same state of happiness or mind state that you were in before the situation occurred, you still have that after the situation is over. The third category is thrive, which essentially means that you came out on top. You came out better because of that situation. And the only thing that separates each category is a mindset shift. And I get it. Sometimes the events of the past are difficult to get over and they can hold us back from future opportunities. But this book uses a quote that says, suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. So with each battle that we face in life, one thing that we should try to do is fix our mindset towards that. Now, I'm not saying that when situations happen that we are just supposed to act like it didn't affect us anyway and that we're just going to keep moving forward without learning from it or acting like it just didn't occur. So the main part that I really want to touch on, which will lead into the stories that follow in the next episode and the episodes after, are a 3-step process on how to overcome negative situations or positive situations and what you can learn from and take away from them. So let's get started. The first step that the book tells you to do is pick the fruit, which in essence means to learn from the situation. This step requires a bit of self-awareness. It requires that you understand that no situation is as good or as bad as we make it out to be in our heads. Many situations may be undesirable and may seem unfortunate, but we can always take something from that situation, learn, and we can do better in the future. One thing to help learn from the situation is to take time to reflect on everything that occurred in that situation and the part you played in it. After that, think over the good and the bad of the situation and think of ways to improve, either to avoid it from happening the next time or to have a better response for it if it were to happen again, or to just avoid the situation entirely. The second step of the process is titled Burn the Rest. And in essence, it says to lose all of the hate, the anger, and the bitterness towards the situation and adjust your mindset to, I can overcome this and I can do better next time. I get it. It's easy to be upset about a sour experience, and it's still okay to have some negative feelings over it. But the important thing is to let go of those feelings with time. I'm not saying to instantly just become apathetic and lose all the feelings towards the situation immediately. Things like this take time. The longer you hold on to those feelings about the situation, the tighter those feelings will become. They will ultimately hold you back in the future for when future opportunities may present themselves. It's okay to forgive the people who are involved in the situation, but it's also important to not forget about the situation in which you could learn from it, if that makes sense. It's okay to forgive and not forget, but just don't let a prior bad experience dictate the overall outlook on everything or anything that may be connected to that experience. For example, if you had a bad experience at one restaurant, don't generalize and let that one experience speak for all future restaurant experiences. Chances are it may have been just an isolated bad experience that you had personally. Unless other people have had the same bad experience, then that's not on you, but it's on whatever restaurant or whatever experience multiple people have had. And the third and final step is to move on, which essentially means that better days are ahead, so go out and see them. You live and you learn to have more experiences in the future. So use all the lessons that you learned, whatever experience comes to your head while I'm speaking, and make sure that you use those lessons to make better decisions in the future or to act in a different way than before. So to sum everything up, learn from any situation that may have occurred, lose the negative emotions attached to that situation over time, and move on so you can have a better experience moving forward. And those are just the points in the book that I wanted to share with you guys. In the next episode, I will be breaking down one of my personal experiences into these 3 different steps. And keep in mind that these steps could be used in both positive and negative situations. But for now, that's all that I want to share about that book. Now let's get into the content creator highlight. This one is from a personal friend of mine, Rihanny. Now Rihanny has a YouTube channel titled Rihanny Marquez. Her channel is going to be about her journey of successes and struggles through college as a first generation Hispanic student and a woman in the engineering field. If you want to check her out, all of her links are in the episode about page and in the description below. I highly suggest you check her out. She's a pretty cool person, and I support her in her journey through life. If you enjoyed this episode or learned something new, I highly recommend that you follow the Hawks Lounge podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. Become a member of the flock by subscribing to the YouTube channel and turning on post notifications. And if you feel so inclined, join the Discord for a chance to share your stories. If you or somebody you know has a business or is a content creator, please feel free to fill out the corresponding forms below for a shout out at the end of an episode. With all that being said, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I look forward to seeing you next time.